So this is the site to go to as far as 1099 employees, W-2 employees, small businesses. This is the site that is the federal government site where you can apply for disaster assistance. Ultimately, it's created for everybody to apply and receive some type of assistance. And it depends upon if you're a 1099, W-2, self-employed, corporation. It has different choices, but this is the site to go to and to start to apply for the COVID-19 disaster relief. There's a lot of information on this site. I'm taking this and putting it into a document for everyone. It's going to have a number of different links. All you have to do is just register at the webinar that I'm going to post. Before I forget, I'm going to post our link here, Mayteam Realty webinar, in the chat box here. I'm going to post it right here before I forget. Go to chat here. And this link that I'm posting in the Zoom chat is for you to save. And ultimately, right here, if you guys can see, click here to register and instantly receive all of the links and information. That's where you'll get all of these links that I am sharing right now. So we have the federal assistance that's going on right here, the disaster loan assistance. This is the actual form that you fill out to get the disaster relief. And dependent again upon, it has all these check marks. Applicant is a business with not more than 500 employees. That would be me. So ultimately the big corporations, the Winds, the Bellagio, they're all dealing with the federal government on a much bigger level. But as far as small businesses, this is where small businesses can go to start to get that information. Now, when it comes to Fannie Mae loans, this is the website, Fannie Mae, that shows that right now foreclosure sales and evictions of borrowers are being suspended for 60 days on a federal guideline basis. The Fannie Mae website right here. 60 days is the amount of time the Fed says that they're going to hold off on foreclosures and evictions. Now, when it comes to a state guideline, it's 90 days. So here in the state of Nevada, we have a 90-day moratorium on foreclosures and evictions. So that's good news for all of the folks out there that are ultimately worried about what's going to happen. And the fact of the matter is that there's going to be forbearance loans. Joe, maybe you can talk about that a little bit as far as what they're doing as far as forbearance for homeowners that cannot continue to make their payments. Can you share some information on that, Joe?
Yeah, happy to. So what this is, it's set up for people in their owner-occupied properties. So it's not really going to help people that have investment properties, but for your owner-occupied properties, if you've been affected by the COVID-19 epidemic and you're out of work or seen your income drastically cut, you can call your current servicer, talk to them. They're going to ask you a bunch of questions. You're going to have to probably send them some documentation. And based on your level of income being cut, your debts, things like that, they can give you, most lenders, or what they're doing is doing a 90-day forbearance right now, and then reevaluating every 90 days. And
Gotcha.
I do want to point out though, the fact that it is a forbearance, it is not releasing the people from having to make the payments eventually. It's just basically kicking the can down the street for 90, 120 days, 180 days. But at some point, they're either going to want that money made up, or they're going to have to do some type of loan modification at some point. But obviously, that's an argument and a conversation for a later time. They're hoping that people will get back to work, sometime in the next few months. Obviously we don't know how long this is going to last, but at some point go back to work, get caught up and make those payments. But they are trying to work with everyone that has been affected and out of work. So it's a lot different than 2008 and 9, right, where lenders were playing games. The lenders really aren't playing games from what I'm reading so far and everything that's being reported, they truly are trying to help people that have been affected. They did point out they're getting a call from a lot of people that are still employed and making their normal income, and those people may not be able to do a forbearance. So this is for people that have been affected, had their job hours cut, you know, or had to go on furlough or be laid off. So,
Right.
you know, this is a great alternative for people who are worried about their mortgage payments and, you know, being able to stay in their home. They have that security now of being able to stay in their home for at least 90 days and hopefully a lot longer.
Absolutely. Thanks, Joe. Sylvia had
Of
asked,
course.
what about renters? And I have the site for that as well. Sylvia, thanks for the question. So we have FHFA, which is the Federal Housing Finance Agency, and they're talking about suspending foreclosures and evictions on a federal level and as far as that's concerned. But here's the other site right here. And this is a link that's going to be on the list of all the links that we're going to share with you. This was a great article in the Channel 8 News. Governor Sisolak talked about the fact that he is going to suspend evictions and foreclosures for renters and give relief to homeowners. And we have a lovely state assemblywoman here in the House, Ms. Sandra Jaureguii. How are you? Sandra, thanks for joining us. Oh, I'm going to go ahead and unmute you. So there you go.
Yeah, I
Thanks.
just unmuted myself. I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me on. I'm sorry I'm a little late,
Absolutely.
but happy
That's
to be
okay.
here. Yeah, and I actually have some great links that I'll share with you, Paul, so you can share as well as far as resources. I've put a great list of resources together for my district that I've sent out to my constituents. I know you touched a little bit right now on the moratorium that Governor Sisolak put in place, and I have a great link that leads directly to the Attorney General's office to file complaints if there is landlords who aren't following the eviction orders.
And that was something that came up in the Las Vegas Review Journal today. There are those nasty bad actors out there that are currently trying to still evict people in this situation, which is unbelievable. But the good news is that our federal government, our state government, Sandra, ladies and gentlemen, I'll share this with you here. Sandra is not only a representative, marketing representative with Ticor Title. She's our marketing guru per se, and I'm going to share this here. So there's Sandra. Can you see your lovely face there
I
on Ticor Title?
can. Oh, wow, I need to update my picture.
Oh, that's okay. That's where you can recommend. But Ticor Title is one of our escrow companies that we utilize to close transactions. Sandra is also the assemblywoman for the state of Nevada, in particular District 41, correct, Sandra?
Correct. Yes, District
Awesome.
41. I have unincorporated Clark County and Henderson.
So why don't you share with us real quick, Sandra, what's going on a state level? Because I'm so glad you joined us because, you know, we have a state assemblywoman to share some of the information right now.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I think our governor done a great job of getting out in front of this. He came out really early and issued stay-at-home orders. He's recently come out and extended them, you know, for all non-essential businesses, and everyone seems to be following them. There was Northern Nevada, Washoe County, and specifically Reno, actually got ahead of us before, and their mayor went out and issued stay-at-home orders before even our governor did. So that's really good that Nevada's cooperating with the stay-at-home orders, which is going to be really helpful in the long run for us. He did come out and issue just an extension, a 2-week extension for all of non-essential businesses to be closed, as well as schools. The good news is, though, Clark County school districts and all the school districts throughout the state have agreed that they're still going to be issuing school lunches and breakfasts for all the students who were on free and reduced lunch. So that was that's really great, because that had continued through the first order the governor gave, and then they extended it during the spring break, and they're going to continue to do it all the way through the end of the month as well. And so I'll send you all those resources where people can go and look at the locations where they can go and pick up breakfast and a lunch for their students who are at home right now.
Right.
And also I think it's been great, you know. The Department of Training and Rehabilitation has staffed up. They hired 41 more full-time employees, and they hired another, I believe, 20 plus part-time employees to help with the number of people who are calling and sending emails. I have some great links. So if people are having a difficult time getting through to the Department of Training and Rehabilitation to file their unemployment claims, that'll help.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the issues that I've heard coming in is that people who previously had an account with Dieter and have since forgot their password, that's where they're running into trouble. So I have some links for those people. We also have some links and tutorials on how they can create their account if they haven't, and then how they can bypass the job search requirement. Because in a normal situation, they have to fill out a list of places where they have applied for employment, but the governor has waived any requirements or any criteria that people need in order to apply for unemployment. So they can just go ahead and apply if they've been furloughed or let go, and then they would get their weekly unemployment benefits. And as soon as Teeter actually receives their regulations from the Department of Labor, then they'll start adding in that additional $600 per recipient.
Got it. So this is the Clark County website, the COVID-19 update site. I'm sure you probably are going to share this with me as well, Sandra. And then obviously there's the Nevada Health Response.nevada.gov site.
That's a great website.
Yeah.
There, in the upper left-hand corner, there's that button that says subscribe to updates. I've actually subscribed. They keep you up to date. That's a great website to find out what's going on within the state as well. And there's actually a link for the state too. It's this little computerized Microsoft website where it's real live updates. I'll share that link with you. I keep it up on my computer all the time and I just refresh it, but it lets you know the exact count of how many tests Nevada has done, how many people have tested positive, how many people have tested negative, the percentage, so geographically where they are, and then also the percentage of people, and then it breaks it down by gender as well. And so interesting that more women are testing positive. So I think it's about 55% of women, and
Yeah.
I think it's 38% men, and then the rest is unknown or undisclosed.
Gotcha. Anything else that you think the public needs to know? We're doing this in a recorded fashion because unfortunately it didn't go live to Facebook, but I'm going to go ahead and share this on Facebook after the fact. What else can you share with us, Sandra, right now that's coming from a state level?
I think that as long as people are following the directive from the governor and staying home, then we'll see, leveling off. We know that we were going up like this, and all trends show that if people follow the directive and stay home instead of going up, we will come down and then flatten out. So
Gotcha.
I think Nevada's doing a great job of staying home, and I think that's the number one thing that we want to stress. Like, we can't stress that enough is, stay home for Nevada, because that's how we're going to help our state. And that's the fastest way for us to recover from this and then really get back to our industry. I know a lot of my real estate and lender partners are, want to get back to their normal form of business. And the fastest way to do that is to, get to that peak and then come down.
Right, which we're all waiting for. But when it comes to social distancing, it's great that we have these kind of forums, this kind of technology to be able to share information. Make sure, again, ladies and gentlemen that are watching this after the fact, I'm going to share this website, which is the May Team website, on the video that we're doing. I'll put it below. If you need to have a discussion about buying or selling a home, we are doing Zoom video conferences. We're doing video online conferences. We're conducting virtual open houses. Joe here is now conducting virtual signings that don't need an actual physical signer. Tycor Title, Sandra, I know that they still have offices that are open, and typically you need to have some human beings signing that deed and that deed of trust and those notes. How are you guys doing as far as the amount of offices open, or have you centralized the offices as far as an actual buyer and seller signing their documentation?
I believe we've closed one office, and we're operating with the least amount of people in each office as possible. There needs to be someone there to get FedEx packages and send FedEx packages out, but that's about it. Everyone's working from home. And as far as signings, all of our buyers and sellers are virtually signing documents or docu-signing everything that they can. And we're doing with very limited, just a handful, I think I think 3 next week are scheduled, but doing curbside signings just for the documents that need to be notarized. So a buyer or a seller can drive up. We'll come out with a clipboard of just the document that needs to be notarized, because that's the only one that we need to witness. And we hand them the clipboard, they sign it, we take it and notarize it. And as far as all the other documents, they're sent to ahead of time to them, and they can DocuSign them, and then we schedule Zoom meetings to walk through the documents with them.
That's terrific. So that saves a lot of time and a lot of personal interaction. But so you're conducting Zoom conferences to go through all the documentation, and then you just drive up and sign the deed of trust with the escrow officer that's a notary.
Yeah, or if it's a seller, they just come in and sign their wire instructions. We notarize those to make sure they're accurate, and then we notarize their deed of trust, and that's it. We make it very effortless and painless for them.
Terrific. Well, hey, you guys, thanks so much for joining us. If Sylvia, thank you. Lawrence, Gaggy, thank you for joining us. And we're going to share all of this information live on Facebook later on with the link to connect. And Sandra, make sure and email me your list of links, and I'll add it to my list of links, and then we'll go ahead and share it with the public. I really appreciate you guys joining me. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Paul.
Everybody stay safe, and just like this too shall pass, this flu shall pass. So thanks a lot, everybody. I really appreciate it.
Thank
All right,
you.
bye-bye.
Everybody have a great evening.
Thank you, guys.
See you later.